A note on blindness by Jose Saramago, the second note. And with this spring of love around us, um, we can't help but think what a pity it is to be blind and not see this. But then I'm also thinking in terms of positive psychology, which points out the fact that we so often are blind to what is around us. And I still try to take in and see how, like they say in some of those detective stories, what's your angle? I'm trying to see what my angle is in this blindness masterpiece, included on the Guardian list of best 100 books ever. And indeed, referring to positive psychology, uh, it's in a way a known fact that we often do not take the time to see this magnolia, which I've shown at the start of this film, in bloom, or other flowers, the roses, the daffodils, or these guys. So, indeed, one of the rules of happiness, as described by Sonia Lubomirsky, is savoring. We need to take in what is around us and not just rush through on the rat race to make more, to gain status and fame and these illusory, vain, false goals, and be aware of what's going on. Now, I'm still at the beginning of the blindness of the book, but it's in the stages where it's sad, depressing rather, and we have the blind people committed. At first, there were a few who unexpectedly suddenly became blind, a strange blindness, in which they don't see darkness, so to say. See, they're not in darkness; they're in whiteness, and I'm not sure what that means. If you know, please let me know. Give me a comment and tell me why white and not black. Um, well, one idea is this, perhaps it's because we can be blind in this world. I mean, we can be blind to this magnolia. It's white. We see something white, but we don't see the flowers because we don't take the drop anymore. We're into money and all those things. Getting more and more, and especially in developed societies, of course, in the third world, that's still a problem. It's not to be condemned. It's understandable. They just have $1, $2, $3 in cases per day, and it's destitution, poverty in South Sudan, in Nigeria, I think, in places, and now in Somalia they have famine, and UN said the war situation in, I don't know, 40 years or so, as the number of people affected. So in with this um, epidemic with this infection of epidemic proportions, that's what they think. Um, the government decides to have those who are blind committed because they think that it was first this man and then the doctor who treated him and then the patients around, so you get it from one to the other, and so they commit them in a mental institution, what used to be a mental institution, and they don't want them out. And indeed, this question of this issue of catching the disease, the blindness, on one hand seems preposterous, but then on the other, having read through influence by the magnificent Robert Cialdini, a classic of psychology, and wherein there is this rule of social proof, how in awkward, unexpected, different situations we look for clues from the others, and then we do what the others do, even if when it's crazy, stupid, and basically inhuman. There is a famous case in New York, the bystander effect, mentioned in The Sellout by Paul Beatty, the winner of the Man Booker Prize for last year, actually, wherein about 48 people watched as a woman was being stabbed to death and did nothing because they looked at the others, and since no one but did anything, that's what they all did, so to say. And indeed, um, this thing happened. It happens so much that they say that the concept you have, if you have a problem, you have to identify one individual and not just address the many people who are around, because the tendency is for them not to interfere. You have to get one individual, say, you in the blue shirt, help me.